I think that currently is a bit out of my depth because I picked what team I wanted to support by whose flag I thought looked the coolest. So I'm a proud supporter of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because
All right.
they had cannons, and I was like, mate, that's well wicked.
Wow, man, that's a hard question.
It's a great one just to drop on people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why you've mentioned protein, and it's reminded me of a conversation I had earlier. I don't actually think people enjoy omelettes. I think they just like the idea of omelettes. Because whenever I eat an omelette, I'll get about a quarter way through and go, God, I'm not actually enjoying this. This isn't good. It's like...
See, I think the eggs that aren't good, man. But all the stuff they put in the omelet makes the eggs better.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to episode 58 of the Uncensored podcast. I am Riley, and who do I have to this side of me, my co-host?
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
Tom.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you're pointing at me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It happens a lot. That is Tom, and today we have a guest.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Zach
Yes.
Black.
Who are we joined by, Tom?
Yeah, we're joined by Zach Black from Souls Extolled.
Radical, dude.
Excuse my voice, I'm a tad bit ill today, but
Yeah, I think everyone is in the UK at the moment. It's just come down really bad for everyone. But that's no note
How
to
are
start
you
a
doing this
podcast
evening,
on. So
Zach?
how are you doing?
Me or Tom? Me?
Oh, no, you. Yeah, Tom's got his 10 seconds.
Dude, I'm doing great, man. It's like 3:00 in the afternoon here in Austin, Texas, and the guys actually just left. Y'all can see I'm in the band room. We did like an 11 to 2:30 or so jam session, just getting ready for a show on Thursday, and also doing some test recordings for to send to our producer for hopefully for the next record. So it's a good way to start off the
Awesome.
day.
Oh, sick. And like talking about your band, I guess we'll just delve right into the first question. How did you all kind of come together to form the band?
Sure. So I guess you could say we all kind of met in the Austin music scene. Austin's a city here in Texas that's the capital of Texas, and it's like I guess it's like the fourth biggest city. It's a little bit closer to this like a town, even though it's becoming a city. You know what I mean? The other
Yeah.
big cities, like Dallas and Houston, are like millions of people. Austin's just getting to a million, but it has its own phrase that's the live music capital of the world. And I think probably long before we came here, you know, since like the 90s, I think it's been pretty well known around America as like a pretty good spot to go if you're trying to play music. So all of us kind of came here for different reasons. JP, my bass man, is from Austin, which it's one of those towns where they say that's kind of rare that you actually meet someone from the town because there's so many people coming in, you know. And then me and the drummer Joe, we both came into town to go to college. He went to St. Edward's here in town, and I came in to go to University of Texas. And then yeah, we just started. We were all playing in bands and stuff like as soon as we got here, you know what I mean? And eventually brushed shoulders. And I guess right place, right time. I was doing sort of I was kind of between bands. So I was going out and doing some gigs on 6th Street, which is kind of like the tourist strip here, just making a little money on the side and trying to stay active. And I ended up getting some opportunities to play on a little bit bigger stage where I wanted to bring a band. And so at the time, I had started hanging out with JP through some other guys, and Joe's a guy I knew through some bands I'd been keeping my eye on. So I asked them to just like come and play some gigs with me. And we did that and just kind of vibed, you know what I mean? So once we had done a couple of those shows together, I kind of like went to them on New Year's of when it was 2018 turning 2019. I called both of them and was like, hey guys, you know, I know that we've been doing these sort of like paid gigs together, but you know, I've got this idea for like an original project. Would you guys be down to you know, to play with me and make a original band with me, which also means, you know, there's not going to be a lot of money for a while, you know, kind of thing. And luckily they were down, man. They were down to jump in and do it, even though both of them are, both the guys are like the best rhythm section you could play with. They get paid to play with some of like the big cats in town and stuff. But luckily they're down to fucking, support my dumb ass, even though I don't have any money. And the rest is history, man. We've been doing it now together for 5 years, and shit, man, we've toured the fucking whole country. You know what I mean? We've made a couple records. We've played some of the coolest spots here in Texas around our town, and we're getting a lot of love, having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah, that's wicked. So, sorry, one moment. I will return shortly. Tom, just keep it.
Anyway, I'll start asking questions now. Yep. So, how did you come up with the name, Souls Extolled?
Oh yeah, I was at an open mic like a couple of years before I started the band, and basically was trying out some of the songs. I made friends with a fella who's like a rapper, but he's also like an English teacher, English major guy, very lyrical kind of dude. And me and him just got into some discussions about lyrics and what some of my stuff was about, which a lot of it sort of it talks about spiritual stuff. A lot of the songs I was trying out at that time were from the first record, Follow the Ghosts. So it definitely like uses some biblical imagery and some spiritual imagery and stuff like that, and it's very intense. And yeah, actually one of these days he actually was driving me to a gig. He was going to come to the show together, so he picked me up and we were going to this show, and he was just like, by the way, I had this band name idea for you. I saw the name Extolled somewhere, which means to like praise and worship enthusiastically. And I just thought of the name Souls Extolled. I think it's like all your music's sort of spiritual. It's about the struggle of the soul, and I just think it has the right kind of sound, for what you're doing. And I was just like, shit, I haven't thought of anything better. You know what I mean? So I kind of put the name in my back pocket, and a couple of years later, when it came time to name this one, I asked the guys what they thought about it. They thought it was cool, so we just rolled with it.
That's awesome. I mean, so also I'm just warning you. Sorry if I'm not either cutting out or just like quite behind. My connection is quite an issue.
Oh, no worries, man. I'll roll with a little bit of delay.
Yeah, it's normally a little bit of a delay. So, would you say like what kind of like music has inspired Souls Extolled? Like, what kind of bands, like, artists do you think have like made the whole band come together as one?
For sure. Man, I think it's just like across the generations of rock, really. You know what I mean? I think there's definitely some periods that we're more interested in terms of what we listen to. We listen to a lot of like, 70s rock, like The Doors, Black Sabbath, you know what I mean? Going to the 80s, we all like Dire Straits and Van Halen, Metallica, Rush. So, all the classic rock. We're big on like a lot of the 90s ska punk stuff, like some of the more punky stuff that Sublime does, Rancid, Operation Ivy, and kind of like, and then also, the grunge stuff like, Pearl Jam and Nirvana, Alice in Chains. In terms of modern stuff, we all really like the Strokes. We all really like the Arctic Monkeys, and the Shins. But I think that like when I made the band, I basically, my goal was basically to try to genre smash. You know what I'm saying? So I actually kind of intended to be like sort of fusing like reggae, hip hop, and like rock and metal. You know what I'm saying? But as when you intend something and you start making art, it just kind of comes out how it comes out. And so it just honestly, it ended up being kind of all over the place. We're kind of like alternative punk metal, something like that. You know what I mean?
That fits like proper as well. Really. I mean, it's all like bordering off of the same genre almost. If you don't
Yeah,
what I mean.
we always end up saying
it
like,
all sounds a bit similar.
yeah, like we always end up just saying that like we're a rock band, you know, like a hard rock band, because you know it whatever song you happen to stumble on, especially like I feel like the first record we're kind of finding our sound. The songs are, you know, there's a few different sort of sounds on that record. And then the second EP, Seraphic War, you can really see like grunge and ska punk and like classic metal really like fusing together. Like we kind of actually figured out our sound or whatever. But then, you know, when we got to our next record, we actually were doing it as 12 singles. So there's probably like 2 or 3 songs that sort of use that sound. And then the other, you know, 8 or 9 songs is just, you know, what we wanted to do. So some of them were like really kind of more on the poppy indie rock side where I'm singing more like falsetto. It's a lot softer vibe. And then we have a couple that are like super out there, like psychedelic, weird metal with yelling and, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then, you know, everything in between, some stuff that's a little bit more pure punk, you know. And so, you know, really we're just fucking all over the place, man. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely
That's
has a vibe of like
really that's
rock.
yeah, really that's the best place to be, really, because then you've got a choice of where you can go. Almost.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like when we're writing the songs and making them in the garage, you know, it's just really hard to think about. We know that we're a rock band. We know that most people who are into different rock are going to be, you know, we can put on an eclectic show. I would say that's one benefit of like, you know, when we play a show that's, you know, 8, 9 song set, you know, we're literally, we'll go from like a soft indie song and then we'll hit them with like a grunge, like almost like metal song. Then we'll dial it back with like a slow psychedelic, like rolling song. And we can kind of have that variation as we go. Or when we go into different bills, we get put with some metal bands. We can load the set with like the harder stuff, or we get put with some indie bands, the opposite. So it definitely provides some flexibility, but it's kind of on accident, man. Like honestly, I feel like there's most bands seem to be able to like they go into it writing a little bit more concise, like knowing who they want to sound like. And I think for us, like we're just creating, and whatever happens just kind of happens. You know what I mean? And we just have to sort of justify it after the fact. Like, oh, what was that y'all were trying to do? We're like, I guess it sounds like you know, reggae rock mixed with some metal. So yeah, I guess that's what it is, you know. You know.
Tom's running on a delay. He's not just blankly staring.
No, no,
I'm not. I'm waiting for you.
we're catching on with the
I'm
delay.
waiting for you to ask your question.
Oh, cheers,
Yeah.
boss.
So,
You would have called me up.
I think it's
But yeah. Anyway, so we shall pick up where I believe Tom would have left off. Sorry, just give me a moment. I'm not the most organised today, but you know, I'm gonna whack this one in. We're gonna stray slightly away from the usual order. And ask a question a bit more left field. I don't ask every episode. Are there any bands that you wish you could have seen that you probably won't have the chance to see now?
Oh hell yeah. Too many of them, dude. The Doors, fucking Operation Ivy, you know, Ozzy Osbourne with Randy Rhoads, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. The list is too long to fucking count. You know, Prince. You know,
Prince. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There are definitely some like great bands, but also what I always do wonder, what are going to be the bands that in like 20 years people are going to go, shit, man, I really wish I'd saw them. Like, because they might be at their peak right now, but they might be gone next year. Like, you never know.
You know, one thing that worries me is that maybe they're not gonna be, is, you know, I don't know if there's gonna be like the same type of long lasting iconic bands. Like I don't know if there's gonna be bands that are coming out right now that in 50 years, you know, like the Doors or the Beatles or something, that are still like a cultural phenomenon. And I'm not saying that because I don't think there's a lot of great music. There's more great music than ever. It's just you know, the industry's changed. You know, back then it was like those bands were almost like a football team. You know, they had like the industry behind them, and there was like, it was mass culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, you know, now everything is all spread out and disintegrated. And I just don't know if that kind of iconic status is, I mean, if there's someone like that right now, it's probably like Taylor Swift and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, Kanye West. These are guys that I'm sure people will look back on. But is it going to be the same? Like in 50 years, there's going to be kids wearing t-shirts that say Taylor Swift on them, you know? I just don't know, man. I just don't know if it works like that anymore. Things change too fast, you know? They'll have their own icons.
But I
You know
guess
what
it's one of those things that, like, when you're actually in the midst of that era, you wouldn't go, oh, mate, in 50 years. Like, I'm sure in the 80s, like, most people weren't going, like, oh, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. Oh, insert popular band from the 80s here. Mate, they're going to be the next Beatles. Like, we'll take Queen. Yeah, take Queen. Like when they were actually active, or anyone going, they're going to be put in the same caliber as the Beatles. Like, I think it's just a thing. It's got to age over time, so you can really see what sticks.
That's true. I hear you on that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I have heard some people say that they thought some bands were the Beatles, but it's usually like a ha-ha. Like I've heard that people were saying Duran Duran was going to be like the Beatles, but it's definitely like a ha-ha kind of thing. Like some people may have said that, but it's fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know why that's reminded me on talk of the next Beatles or whatever, but I saw earlier that the Killers have announced a tour again, and I might snag tickets for that because the Killers are brilliant, man. I didn't like their last album though. I will be honest.
You know, the only album of theirs that I've really heard is like the main one, the Mr. Brightside record.
Yeah,
you know?
Hot Fuss.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. But I can't say that honestly, I like it a lot. I don't know why I haven't looked more into them. I should probably go check out. How many records do they have?
God, I don't even know. Like,
I'm not quite sure. But,
I'll check it now.
The Killers are
They've got like
premium
15 records.
UK.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Killers are a premium UK like need. Like we're just always in dire need of the Killers. So
Are they from the UK?
I want to say so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
You know, I would assume that they are, but I don't exactly know why, because so much great fucking rock music comes from over there. It's like,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, we were the Beatles. Like, we brought the Beatles, we brought Queen. I also do hate the argument of, oh, mate, the British make so much better music than America. Because, like, it's not comparable. Because one of your favourite bands, probably American. Another one of your favourite bands, probably British. Like,
true that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, exactly. But in this,
it's surprising for a lot of Americans how many bands come from England, even though I think like it would be less surprising to like younger people now because of like Netflix and stuff. So I think like now there's so much media shared where like so many British TV shows you know, and stuff are being watched that like, you know what I mean, that it's not as odd seeming, but like why I think I was surprised to some extent when I learned like how many bands were British is one is if I hadn't heard them talk that they didn't sing in like a British accent. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the things I love so much about like the Arctic Monkeys. Like for whatever reason, there's this shift where all of a sudden you guys have these guys who are like, to me, they seem like British punks, you know, like they talking like what do they call it, like Cockney or something?
Yeah,
like,
in a Cockney accent.
Yeah, just real radical, you know what I mean? And I thought that sound was really cool. But also just because landmass wise, like I don't know how many people are in England or how many people are in America, but America's so much bigger. And you think of like rock and roll, you think of like Hollywood and movie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you realize that like, oh wait, but most of the original iconic rock bands, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the Beatles and Ozzy Osbourne, you know, you can't really compete. Like there is some American bands you can throw up there with that, but
definitely.
You know. So kudos to you guys, man. You know,
yeah, that was all me putting the strings behind. I actually made the Beatles They asked if I wanted to be in it, and I was like, "Oh, busy."
It's in the genes, man. You know.
Yeah, I paved Abbey Road myself. As
Actually, I'm sure that the Beatles' genes are in quite a few people in both of our countries. Now that I think
yeah, no, probably. I assume they got around. But
about it.
go on, Tom. Spout your wisdom.
Well,
So
I also
I
think
just want to, yeah,
I'm sorry. There's just there's
like,
you have you guys seen the Jimi Hendrix movie
I
with
haven't.
it's well it's like also I think rockers in America give the English a lot of credit for like putting Jimi Hendrix on and being a lot more like progressive
Mm,
than we were in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, no, definitely. But Tom, did you?
yes. I did just want to take the last 6.5 minutes. Uh, I believe our good old friend over in the States assisted us in getting you on here, I believe. Is that
Yeah,
correct? I think, yes.
yeah. The
Good
guys,
old Bo.
yeah, dude. The guy, 7 Year Witch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have you had the pleasure of touring with them yet?
We just played one show with them, man, and they were
Oh,
super
that's
cool.
awesome.
They hit us up. I don't remember how we got in contact or how they found out about us or whatever, but they pretty much just hit us up like, hey, we got a gig in Austin at the Mohawk, which is a fucking legendary rock venue here in town. Y'all want to come and play with us? And we were like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? They fucking kick ass, dude. They got a lot of energy, a lot of swagger on the stage, and we had a fun show with them, man. And then we were chatting, getting to know them a little bit, and Bo was kind enough to connect us with you guys. So it's cool talking to you guys, man, over there. And shit, dude, I'd love to come over there and check out your guys' rock and roll scene. You guys got some good clubs over there and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
mate.
my, Camden is yeah, Camden's the best for it.
Yeah,
Camden and
definitely.
London.
Yeah, if
It's
you
just
come
too
down,
bad Riley can't get into. It's just too bad Riley can't get into any of the clubs.
I'm almost there. Give it another year or
Almost.
so. But yeah, no, Camden is the spot for finding some good new music.
Is it hard for a band to start gigging over there? Is it pretty hard to start getting into the venues?
I wouldn't know
Um,
personally. I wouldn't really say that's like my area of expertise to know, but there are definitely some
it,
hidden gems that you'd find.
Yeah.
it depends on how quick you get out because there are some venues where you can just go in and just say, look, we want to play here. How much is it? When can we do it?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just some that are just like, no.
For sure.
Yeah, but no, yeah, Canada's great. We got 4 minutes, so I'm actually gonna talk about a little personal venture for a moment because I think you might be of some help. Recently, I've decided I want to start following the NFL. This is my
Oh.
new thing. I was like, mate, these guys seem pretty cool. They do it like way bigger than shit. So I don't know if you're an NFL guy yourself or if you follow it.
Dude, I love American football. You know, the NFL as an organization, they're probably like criminals. You know what I mean? I don't want to, I don't want to say anything specific maybe about those guys, but American football, man, I think you'll have a blast watching it.
Yeah, and probably a stupid question, but what team do you follow specifically?
Well, in Texas, man, and in a lot of the states, I guess, but especially in Texas, Dallas Cowboys, dude.
I assumed that one.
Well, the
I've
thing that's fun about football, man, is that like I think it seems like it's made for TV. It's really fun to go to the games and it's very festive and stuff. But watching it on TV is maybe better.
yeah,
Once you really get the hang, like you should go play Madden, right? You play Madden enough, you'll start to understand a little bit of the calling of the plays. And
yeah,
then you have this whole other level where like every time the play stops, every time someone goes down, when they reset, just the way that the teams are set up, the formations prior to, the snap of the next play, right? Is
yeah.
like, you know, between 30 and 70% of the game. You know what I mean? And when you understand that strategy that's going on, it's like you're watching like the chess match from Harry Potter, where the chess pieces get up and start. You know what I mean? Like the positioning that they're making is important, and then these players also have the individual ability to change events. And one other thing I'll tell you is some people say it's the greatest team sport because there's no other sport that has such a diversity of different types of athletes, meaning the guy on one position could never play a different position, like because of the body type necessary. Do you get what I'm saying? To play each different position. So it's such a diverse range of athletes. You know, you got your big fat guys on the line, you got your tall quarterback, you know what I mean? You got your super short ripped guy who runs the ball. You got your really fast guys on the edges who can run and catch, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think that currently is a bit out of my depth because I picked what team I wanted to support by whose flag I thought looked the coolest. So I'm a proud supporter of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because they had cannons, and I was like, mate, that's well wicked.
Not a bad choice.
Although I don't think they've got a game this week, so I can't actually see how they are until next week.
Go get Madden, my friend. It'll educate you in football. You'll have a blast.
I might have to check if I've got a Madden somewhere in my game library, just so I can have a rough understanding of what the fuck is happening. But with that, this brings us to the closing of our first half of the podcast. So we'll see you in part 2. And welcome back to part 2. We're going to kick it right off with a question. So this is the one I always open part 2 with. Is there any moments in a film where you would put a song of your own? And if so, what one?
Wow, man, that's a hard question.
It's a great one just to drop on people.
Yeah.
Because no one's ever prepared for it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's easier for me to imagine. I guess I don't have a specific answer. Maybe some of the more intense songs, like Seraphic War, could probably go somewhere like in that Constantine movie. There's a lot of like angels and demons fighting each other.
Yeah,
it's kind of
that's cool.
Man, I mean, some punk rock movies like SLC Punk, you could probably throw like Propaganda song somewhere in that one. Yeah, you know what I mean? Maybe like Self-Mutilation or Allegiant Swine could go somewhere in Fight Club, you know? It's easy with the violent scenes, you know? I guess one of the happy songs, Ride in My Life or Fall Into Orbit, could probably slip into a rom-com or something like that. I don't know.
I love Fight Club. It's such a good film.
True that.
But yeah, that's some pretty sick choices, to be fair. So overall, for the most part, violent scenes.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, I guess it's just easier to imagine like where I guess if it's more like an intense song, it goes into some sort of like, you know, some of the songs are more spiritual. So those like an Angels and Demons movie or just a movie that's got some like intense hardcore shit. You know what I mean? But that's a tough one, man. You know what I mean? I have to think about that one.
Yeah, well, if you think of any more, feel free to drop us a DM and slide it in somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I know that we just kind of dropped that horrific question.
That's a good one. Shit.
What horrific question?
I just meant horrifically difficult.
So, the question is somewhat based around the movie. So, just try and picture this. They decided to make a nice little biopic about your lovely band. Which celebrities would you like to play yourselves?
Could you get that?
It was breaking up a little bit, but I think if they made a movie about the band.
Yeah, you got it.
Man, I gotta think about that one too, dude. All right, well, I guess Timothy Chalamet plays me. Who's the guy who's in that movie with Nicolas Cage, who's really funny? He's also like in Narcos. Let's see.
Pedro
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
That's definitely my drummer Joe. And I think for JP, probably like machete. Yeah.
Uh,
Awesome.
I mean, is if you ask me,
Straightforward.
yeah, if we
Perfect.
ask this question to enough bands, eventually one of them has to get a biopic, and we might be right in 20 years' time. So in the event that
You
you
never know.
get a biopic, just saying, the Uncensored podcast called that shit.
Yeah, you guys called it. And dude, I love that question too. That's an awesome question.
Awesome.
You guys are killing it.
I don't,
Oh, we got plenty more awesome questions.
I don't want to lower the bar now, but gonna have to gear up for this one. So we've had a good time, answered some questions, and so now we're gonna get into the more serious shit. I'm really gonna do some soul searching here.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Well, I might as well just crack right into it. What is the best sandwich?
Best sandwich?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the kind of guy who gets very excited about a sandwich. Let me probably like fuck it, probably like a tuna sandwich because I need that protein, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Go love a good tuna sandwich. Just plain tuna. Or...
Nah, dude. Who knows what they're doing? You know, they mix it up and stuff. They put all kinds of stuff in there. You know.
Yeah. A tuna with maybe some mayo. And you've got to have some lettuce too, just to add a crunch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of too flat, if you will. But yeah, I don't know why you mentioned protein, and it's reminded me of a conversation I had earlier. I don't actually think people enjoy omelets. I think they just like the idea of omelets. Because whenever I eat an omelet, I'll get about a quarter way through and go, God, I'm not actually enjoying this. This isn't good. It's like,
See, I think the eggs that aren't good, man. But all the stuff they put in the omelet makes the eggs better.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you got a bunch of cheese and vegetables and fucking mushrooms and shit in there, dude. A little bit of ham, right? And it makes the eggs go down easy, baby.
yeah, because I love eggs, but there's something about them. I could not eat more than like one. Like,
eggs have like a little bit of an odd flavor. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I know how to cook them. You know what I'm saying?
it's almost like a feeling in the back of your throat after half an omelet, and it really gets to you. Like, this does not apply to hard boiled.
I love omelets. Omelets are, I gotta say, I'm a fan, you know. I'm not really that big of a fan of like eggs as a whole, but then someone makes a fucking omelet or they put it in a taco with a bunch of other delicious stuff, you know. To me, eggs are like a utility. It's the protein. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm very much the opposite. I love a good hard-boiled egg. Make them the night before. I can wake up in the morning. There's an egg, mate, right down the gullet. I'm that type of person who will buy.
Have you had a deviled egg before, bro?
I think I have.
Dude, you gotta search that up after this. You will love deviled eggs, bro.
Oh, I've heard.
I have not indulged in a while, but I believe I've had a deviled egg. But yeah, I'm the type of motherfucker who walk into a shop and buy like the singular boiled egg. I've done that before, and I've got no shame because I really enjoy it. Boiled eggs are some of the best forms of eggs, up there with poached eggs and scrambled eggs.
That's wild, dude. I feel like most times I've seen people eat hard boiled eggs is because they're like trying to stack protein or something. You know what I'm saying? Not usually for pure enjoyment. You know
No,
what
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a bit of
on it or
protein.
what?
Yeah, I love a bit of protein as much as the next guy, but I do. I just really enjoy a nice hearty boiled egg. Like,
A little bit of pepper or what?
yeah, maybe. You could add some pepper, but I'm fine with just getting it down. Like,
Wow, dude, you're a conservative fellow when it comes to the eggs.
yeah, I don't like to overcomplicate my eggs.
My favorite eggs are called migas, and they're basically it's basically like scrambled eggs that are just made with tortilla chips in them, as well as like some tomatoes and cheese and stuff. You know,
That sounds good.
it's pretty good. Yeah, if you like, yeah, oh yeah, can't go wrong throwing some tortilla chips in there. You know.
Yeah, I might need to I might need to have an indulge in that because that sounds beast.
So, dude, the food in Texas, man, if you're looking for some great food, I mean, all over the states, there's different types of food, but like the Tex-Mex and the barbecue they're making down here is fucking religious, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I need to go to Texas. What good landmarks are there in Texas? And then I'll be really sold.
I mean, I guess it's not really the Alamo's down in San Antonio, but it doesn't, there isn't I'd have to think other than that. You know what I mean? We don't really have like a Golden Gate Bridge or like a big monument or anything like that over here.
Yeah. I've never been to any part of America, so it'd be nice to go somewhere. And maybe Texas is on my list.
Hell
I,
yeah. Austin,
I
Texas, dude.
I'm open to basically anywhere other than LA. I don't see the appeal of Los Angeles. It seems way too polluted for my liking.
Do you like to party?
Yeah, I'm a party guy, but no, I think I love the idea of LA, but I think actually being there, I've heard so many horror stories that I could just go to London and get a slightly colder equivalent experience.
Man, I have such limited experience in LA. I've just only like basically been through, one time when I was a kid, I was near there and I went to Disneyland. And then we played there like in November. So I guess about a year ago. But we were literally, in LA for like one night for a show. You know what I'm saying? However, for all that you hear that it's so bad and stuff like that, like we cruised around the city and explored a little bit and I think it's fine, dude. You know what I mean?
Maybe I won't write it off then, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Don't
America's
believe
just a wham
You get the
place.
Zach approval.
Yeah. America's just such a wham place that I wouldn't even know where to start if I was to start making my way around there.
Yeah, I mean, shit, man. I guess I would probably start if I would probably say if you could only go to one place in America, you should probably go to like New York City. You know what
At
I mean?
Christmas, that's kind of my dream. New
Oh
York at
yeah,
Christmas time.
hell yeah, for sure. But after that, probably probably California, maybe San Francisco or LA.
Mm,
And after that, Texas. Yeah, I mean, because if you're going to go somewhere in the middle of the country, it's a little different than the coasts.
yeah.
But Texas is the shit, man. You know what I mean? If you like to party, Austin will try to kill you, man. And it's not expensive like other places you party. Like it's just a fucking playground for young adults over here, basically. You know what I mean?
You have to keep that in mind. I'll add it to the big sheet.
Before you get too old, you got to come party over here, dude.
That's true. Well, I think I've still got a good few years left of my youth, so I'm not struggling for time at the moment. But Tom, are you going to ask the question you ask sometimes?
I've got a different question now. I thought of this an hour before we started recording.
Ooh.
Sorry, I just have to make sure that my throat doesn't die beforehand. So, Zach, this is from a band perspective. Could you name 3 bands that you wish to tour with in the future?
Oh,
if you could name any 3 bands that you would just love to tour with.
So I think like if it was like genre open and we could just like I guess there's so many people out there that I respect. I'd be like so sick to tour with them. But in terms of like who I think we might go well with, one band that always comes to mind is Coheed and Cambria. Y'all know them?
Yep, they played Download Festival over here this year.
Fuck yeah! Did you see them?
No, I can't remember who I went to go see instead of. Oh, they were on the list of bands I was going to see. I just
Yeah.
can't remember who was on while they were on.
Well, I guess to me they're a kind of an eclectic rock band, and in terms of like themes, you know what I mean. They kind of have sort of a dark, mystical sort of themes going on. So I feel like we'd go real good with them. I guess I'd say Modest Mouse. At least on sort of like the indie side, they're one of my favorite bands ever, and seeing them out, I saw them at ACL. I want to say the year before last, and so I think that would be sick. So Coheed, Modest Mouse, and shit, man. After that, I guess when I try to think of like who I think we might actually look good with on a bill, I guess I have to brainstorm it a little more of like who's out there right now. I mean, it'd be sick, I guess the Arctic Monkeys. You know what I mean? Another like favorite
That's
huge
cool.
band. Like any of those three bands would be like the coolest shit that ever fucking happened to us. You know what I mean? Most def.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm currently invested in trying to find who was playing that same day.
What festival did you say?
Download Festival. It's an English one over here.
Cool, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the big ones. But while Tom's looking for that, I might as well set you off on our final question.
All right,
So-
all right.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to make a band. Here are the base rules. You can be in the band, but you don't have to be. You can have as many or as few people as you want, as long as you have the core fundamentals of a singer, a bassist, a drummer, and a guitarist. You can have anybody on any instrument you want, but they will not learn to play that instrument. You can have anybody dead or alive. They will be alive when they perform unless you specifically request them not to be. And I
Man.
think that's about it.
Whew. I guess I just have to think of like who my favorite players are, just because I'd just love to see what happens, putting them together. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, let's see, what would be interesting here? I think like starting with guitars, we get like Alec Lifeson from Rush. And then we all like sort of to do more kind of rhythm playing. And then man, it's so hard in terms of lead guitarist, but probably like Randy Rhoads is probably, I guess, probably my favorite in terms of just having parts that I just really, really love. It could be maybe like Slash too, or obviously Jimmy, but I feel like Alex Lifeson and like Randy Rhoads on the guitars. On the bass, get like Victor Rutan. You know what I'm saying? I think probably Victor. You know what I mean? Just someone who's just an absolute on another planet on that instrument who could actually stand there and probably head to head with Mr. Rhodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on the drums, man, gotta think about this one for a second. I actually don't know what the guy's name is, but I love the drummer from the Arctic Monkeys. Maybe y'all know, but I feel like I might.
I don't know his name.
I love that guy's drumming. So maybe
Riley
that.
knows the band, but doesn't know the. Yeah, Riley knows the band, but not the members.
Yeah, I couldn't name many members of any bands, to be fair.
And then if when I was thinking singers, man, I think it'd be sick to get like a powerful male and female voice. So like maybe Melody Pratchett from Melody's Echo Chamber. She's probably my favorite like female singer. And then man, my favorite singer probably ever is probably Jim Morrison. So yeah, maybe that's my band. We got Jim Morrison and Melody Pratchett singing, Alec Lifeson on rhythm guitar, and Randy Rhoads on lead guitar, with Victor Wooten on the bass, and the drummer from the Arctic Monkeys slamming back on the drums.
And is that your final
awesome
list?
I think so. I think that's the best I can do right now.
All right. Well, with the gavel down, that actually does bring us to the end of this episode. So unless there are any questions that you have for us.
No, dude. When are you guys gonna come visit? How about that? Y'all should come check out some music here in Austin, Texas, and there's like a billion bands here for y'all to meet and talk to as well.
Well, Tom, when are we
Who
gonna do that?
knows?
Maybe we need to not rack up more bills to pay right now. But once the uncensored check is back in positive numbers, that'll be near the top of our priority list to check out.
This time next year, you guys come and I'll bring you guys to a football game.
Oh, you know what, Tom? Maybe we should go to the Super Bowl. Uncensored go Super Bowl. I've always wanted to go.
That's an expensive
oh,
choice, but good one.
That's true.
I found out who they were playing against. It was the back of my eyelid. I was asleep.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Breaking up a little bit when you said that. What was that?
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't actually watching anyone. I was asleep.
Well, well, this does bring us to the end of this episode. So go check out the Instagram of all of us here, linked below. Because just do it. It's proper wicked, I promise. Go subscribe to all of us. Stream the podcast. Stream the dope music they've got coming out. If you've got any promotional bits, say it now.
Dude, UK homies, rockers all over the world. Check out Souls Extolled. If you love rock and roll, we're trying to make some good stuff for you. Souls Extolled on all the places. Check it out, man. We appreciate it. Oh, yeah.
Wicked. Well, yeah. Then check out Souls Extolled. Watch some more of the Uncensored podcast. Please do the subscribes and the likes and that shit. And we'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.